What is going on, guys? So welcome back to another vlog. Today is Tuesday. I am currently working. I actually have quite a busy day today. A couple of orders that I need to handle for my clients. As you guys know, I work as a personal stylist or shopper at Essence. So I have a couple clients that need assistance with some orders, so I'm currently handling that. And then and then I have I'm actually working with Lacoste right now. Well, I've been working with them for a while, for like the last couple of months, on content that I need to deliver, and I finished shooting the content, so I'm just waiting on them to confirm when it's gonna be going online. So I just need to follow up with them today so I can get that over and done with. And yeah, that's what my Tuesday is looking like today. As you guys saw, I just made my first meal. I would say that a smoothie is actually, at least my smoothies, I'll consider them meals because they're around sometimes 400 calories, which is pretty good for at least the next 2 hours before I have my second meal, which is usually my breakfast. So a bagel, maybe I'll throw in some peanut butter on there, or just some cream cheese and jam. So if I get a little bit of time, I'll usually shoot between 12 and 1 p.m. because the smoothie that I'm having right now is able to hold me until at least 2 p.m., sometimes even 3 before I head to the gym at 5 p.m. So yeah, so my energy levels are pretty consistent. Honestly, I posted this on my Instagram recently on how, you know how like usually when you're working, you usually tend to get tired around 2 p.m. And then you end up having a coffee, which isn't necessarily good. I mean, for some of you that have coffee regularly, like I do, one of the things that I noticed was ever since I started working from home, I'm able to balance my productivity and energy levels throughout the whole day consistently. And I've actually been trying to get even better sleep, so I've been going to bed around 11 p.m., 11:30, and it is a bit hard at first. Like yesterday, I noticed that, if I go to bed around 11:30, I usually do tend to wake up in the middle of the night, like at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., and then fall back asleep. But I think as you kind of get consistent, your sleep kind of adjusts, and then you're able to get your good 6, 7, 8 hours sleep. I would honestly suggest 8. If you can get 8 hours of sleep, then that's really good. I think it just helps you throughout the day because then you don't feel like napping. I do nap every now and then, but I usually do these power naps where it's like, I mean, I don't even know what they're called, but basically I'll just close my eyes for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'll set a clock on my phone and then usually wake up after 10, 15 minutes, and I usually feel pretty good, pretty energetic, and I feel like I got a good amount of rest. So usually if I haven't been sleeping well, I'll do that around 3:30 for like till 3:45, just before I finish with the rest of my workday, and then head to the gym. So I thought I would give you guys some updated tips on what I've kind of sort of experienced for anybody that kind of wants to become a stylist, whether it's for your own business or whether it's for a company. So these are some points that I wrote down, and I thought that, like, as I'm sort of dealing with certain issues with my clients, I will quickly hop into them. Now, I'm not gonna do them in any particular order. At first, I was kind of thinking of doing that, but I figured, like, right now I was kind of dealing with a situation with one of my clients that's had a package held in customs for about a month, and I wanted to kind of touch on that, on how to limit your clients' expectations and how to always make them feel like you're there for them, not only just as a personal stylist, but also as an assistant, as someone that's able to kind of like solve problems and find solutions without them having to consistently follow up, right? So one of the points that I had written was communication skills. So in this case, I have one of my clients who's actually a personal stylist himself for Travis Baker, and we were kind of just going back and forth because he's been dealing with an issue for an order that's been stuck in customs for about 3 weeks to 4 weeks, right? And obviously we kind of went back and forth, and he wanted a refund, let's say, and I was like, I've dealt with this situation before, so it's best to sort of be patient when these things happen. And the reason why I kind of wanted to emphasize on communication skills as part of being a good personal stylist is you always have to be thinking along the lines of, if any situation arises, how do I make my client feel comfortable, but also how do I limit their expectations while it's also still providing a solution for them, right? So for example, in this case, I realized, I went and I checked on the customs and realized that the package was finally released and that it was gonna be delivering within this week. So I texted him. That's what you guys saw me doing. I texted him and let him know that, hey, listen, it's been released, because he was kind of looking to contacting either his bank for a refund or us to refund him because the package never got there. So I contacted him and I told him, the package has been released and it should be there within this week. Let me know, and I'm keeping track of it. I usually also get my associate to kind of keep an eye on it, just so we both have our eyes on it. In case it gets released, one of us can let the other know, and we can contact the client and let the client know that the package is now arrived. So throughout the 3 weeks that the package was in customs, I made sure to let my client know, to consistently follow up and give them an update. Even though sometimes there's really no update to be given, but it's just nice to always let a client know that you're keeping track of things. I think that helps them feel kind of like they can trust you and they can work with you. So that's one of the major things that I would say is very important, is to kind of learn how to limit your client's expectations, but also have good communication skills. I think that a lot of the times people think you're just kind of like selling clothes and that's about it. But I think there's also this mindset that you have to bring into the job, where you're sort of handling like your own little business when it comes to personal shopping and personal styling, because you have a bunch of clients that you have to keep in touch with and that you have to communicate with on a consistent basis, and it's always good to keep track of what's going on with each individual client, especially those ones that are in higher tiers, that require more assistance, that require more follow-up, because they have the capacity to spend. What's up, guys? So just finished some groceries, and man, I've been trying to really incorporate some veggies and fruits in my day-to-day meals, just because it's something that even growing up I didn't really, my mom would force us to kind of have like veggies and fruits and things like that, but like just growing up, I didn't eat much of that. It was mostly just like carbs and like meat. So over the last couple of years, I've been really trying to incorporate like more veggies, and just overall also for like my health in general. Like I find like it's like even just incorporating something as small as a Greek yogurt has really definitely helped my digestive system. So I'm really trying to go and do these groceries and just make sure I add like, today I just picked up some peppers, and I've been incorporating some tomatoes has always been there throughout the years, like with my eggs and stuff, but just adding things like peppers, like making sure I have a salad, especially after workouts, because one of the things that I realized you kind of learn when you're dieting is how much we overeat and just overconsume in general. When you start dieting and you start cutting down on your calories, and you actually start realizing that your body doesn't actually need that much food on a day-to-day basis. Like I used to have this thing where every time that I would come back from the gym, I had this feeling that I would have to, like, especially when I was in uni, like I would always think like, oh, you know what, I'm coming back from the gym, I gotta have this massive meal with like rice and chicken and broccoli and whatnot. But I started realizing, like, for example, when I was cutting, like when I got to like 2,200, 2,000 calories, just even having a salad with like a source of protein, like they say chicken or salmon or fish or whatever, I realized that I would sleep so much better. And in my opinion, sleep is even more important than training. If you can get your sleep in check, if you can get your nutrition in check, it's so much better, man. Long term wise, like I'm just still learning. I'm still learning so much when it comes to just health and fitness and building that lifestyle where you kind of want to have consistent sleep, because it catches up to you as you get older. Honestly, if you're slacking on your sleep, you'll be so surprised at how quickly it catches up to you, So I've just really been trying to be mindful of that and just make sure that I consume the right type of food. I wanted to touch on the second point regarding personal shopping. So just before I hit the gym real quick, so the second point is degree. So now I do get asked, what did I study as my major in university? And I did economics. So clearly you do not need a degree to get into personal styling or personal shopping. In my opinion, I think that experience will always be valuable, which is gonna be my next point. But a degree, you can go ahead and get a degree if you want. To be honest, I think like in today's world, a lot of these things, whether it comes to degrees, I think that like in my personal opinion, in today's world, I think that you can accomplish anything you want without necessarily having a degree. I think that a lot of the times we put so much pressure, or maybe our parents put so much pressure on us to get a further our education and get a degree or get a PhD. But I think like unless you're going into a field that requires a specific skill set, like a doctor, a lawyer, or even coding, or computer programming, then maybe you do need to do more schooling and get specific degrees, right? But in my opinion, I feel like when it comes to fashion, experience will always be more valuable. So if you are finishing high school and you're already so sure of what you want to do, I would say get out there and get the experience that you need. The degree, you can always go back to school and do that. I feel like when you finish high school, you're still trying to figure things out, right? So we're forced to go into university or into college right away, but the reality is most of us end up studying things that we don't necessarily want to do, which is what happened to me. So I went to Carleton University here in Canada, and I kind of always had this passion for fashion and sports, but that's not what I went to school and did. I went to school and I studied my economics, got an economics degree, but then afterwards I didn't really know what to do with it and I felt unhappy. So I would highly suggest that if you're still young and you're finishing school, don't worry about the degree, get out there, get as much experience as you can. I think even if you take a gap year, like some people take a gap year and they just chill and party, but I would say or travel. But I would say if you're gonna take a gap year, use it to further investigate on your passions, on things that you truly want to do on the long term. Because once you get out of school, one thing that I can say is that life is not as structured and as straightforward as school is. I feel like school, for so long you're in school and you're being prepped to get out there in the world, but then by the time you get out there in the world, you absolutely have no idea how things work in real life. So if you can take a gap year, take a gap year, get experience, as much experience as you want, especially in fashion. Like here, we're talking about personal styling. I would say that the more experience you have, the better, the more comfortable you'll be styling other people. So yeah, that's a degree, in my opinion, not needed. We'll move into the next point. It's the Sony ZV-1. Yeah. It's looking nice out today, so that's good. Thanks, man.
Got some new fits.
A few new fits and campaign that I'm working on. So yeah, that's about it. Should be good. Morning, guys. So it is Saturday today, and I am currently editing this video right now. So I thought I'll quickly jump into the final points with regards to personal styling and the top 5 ways to becoming a good personal stylist. So one thing that I really want to get into is freelancing and experience. So my opinion, that is probably the most important thing if you want to kind of get into fashion and become a stylist. I think the more experience you have, the better it is in general, especially for your CV and just getting out there and getting gigs and jobs. So excuse me. So what I did for me during my university years is I worked retail, and I worked with a couple of brands or upcoming brands and entrepreneurs that were kind of interested in designing their own brands. So what I would do is I would just help in styling the models in any time that they had a show. I remember when I was in Ottawa, I had this guy that would consistently come to Montreal to do shows to present his collection. So I'd make sure to like help him with that and jump in it and, you know, style the models and so forth and so on. And the good thing about freelancing and experience is that a lot of these up and coming brands or entrepreneurs that are trying to get like sort of an assistant or a stylist to help them, when you're really organized and passionate, one thing that I notice is that they really let you take control of a lot of tasks. So you get to learn while potentially not getting paid, because some of these gigs I wouldn't get paid, and I was okay with that because at that time I was in school and I had a retail job, right? So my retail job would pay me and I would go do my little shifts here and there, and I was in school most of the time, so I didn't really have that much time. But one thing that I really enjoyed was that experience, being able to get out there, meet different people that are within the same sort of industry or that are trying to get in the industry. So I would highly suggest, if you're looking to get into fashion and personal styling more specifically, definitely get as much experience as you possibly can. If you have the opportunity to travel, try to work for retail shops in different countries, see how things work, see how things are run. Especially one thing that I would suggest is if you can work retail, don't necessarily go for those big corporations like Zara or H&M. I would say go for something local, like a local boutique that maybe sells designer brands or just sells different brands, because I feel like a lot of the times with those, they kind of give you more leeway and you kind of get to do different tasks on a day-to-day basis, whether it's like merchandising the mannequins, whether it's like styling the store and just making sure everything is running properly. So a lot of the times those local boutiques, you gain a lot more experience, in my opinion, compared to like a Zara where things are already kind of structured in a certain way. They have their managers, they have people under the managers, and they have the employees. Get as much experience as possible. Even if you're still in school, try to get as much experience as possible, because that will help you in the long run. So my next point is social media. Now, social media is one of those tools that I think that over the years and over the upcoming years, it's gonna be extremely, extremely major. So I would highly suggest for you guys, especially if you're into fashion, nowadays companies and brands do take a look at your social media platform. So it's important to have a good presence. It's important to market yourself well so that you can get opportunities coming your way. So I would say that for me, to becoming a personal stylist, social media did play a role. So I started mine back in 2013 or 14. And at that point, I was kind of just uploading fit pics just to upload, right? I didn't really think it would create all these opportunities that it's created over the years. But what I started realizing was this is an opportunity for you to show the world what you're about and the things that you're passionate about. So smaller brands or even just companies that are looking for employees or that are looking for different people to work in their different departments can go onto your social media and see how passionate you are about the specific job maybe that you're applying for. So I'll say that like in 2017, when I got my opportunity for Essence, my social media did play a role in that, just for them to be able to kind of see, okay, this is potentially what he also does outside of his regular 9 to 5, so he could be beneficial to the company. So I would highly suggest that, you know, if you are looking to get into any career, honestly, it's important to kind of like brand yourself, at least if that's something that interests you, because it can definitely be another source of income, for example, and also it can create opportunities for you in the long term. And then the last point is the sales skills. So I think that like that can come with the more experience you have. I think once you kind of get to know your client and you kind of get to know what they're into, then your sales become easier. I think developing relationships, like good relationships with client, is your most important step. And then after that is converting, right? So converting that relationship into the person spending a little bit more money and the person trusting you over any other stylist that he could go shop with. So skill set, sales skills is one of those skills that I think will develop over time. It's good to work retail and not just freelance, because a lot of the times when you freelance, you're not getting paid, so you don't really have any motivation. But when you work retail, for example, you know, you have certain goals that you have to hit. So it trains you on how to sell, you know, and how to be a good salesperson. So that's something that you're also gonna need while as being a personal stylist, is just really knowing how to sell to clients, how to develop those really good relationships, and then eventually turn them into sales. So yeah, those are the points that I kind of wanted to mention for you guys that want to become personal stylists. Leave a comment down below if you got any more pointers, or if you would like to know more, any sort of questions that you guys have with regards to my job. I'll be happy to talk about it. So thank you guys so much once again for tuning into the vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.